Well, good morning to you all, and it's my pleasure to spend some time with you talking about the thing I spend most of the time thinking about and working on, which is innovation. And my topic will be creating a culture of innovation. We've been at this for many, many years, and Arun's right. Innovation in the 21st century is quite different in my mind, at least in the ICT industry, than it was in the 20th century. So if you remember nothing else about my comments this morning, it is no longer the necessary and sufficient condition for innovation to invent, create, or discover. That by itself will not get the job done. We need that, but we need more in the 21st century. We need to understand how to apply it to create real value that provides new insights and new capabilities that didn't exist before, perhaps more so in this industry than ever before. On a global basis, this industry struggles, even though it does well here, it does well in other countries, but in aggregate, the ICT industry is not growing as it once used to. The wind is not at our back, and the businesses that we create and the value that we add is something that we need to innovate in the 21st century. Lots of reasons why things are different. You're very smart, you're very facile. This topic has been discussed many times, so I'm not going to dwell on the fact that these three incredibly important elements are different now than they were in the 21st century. They're all technology-driven thoughts, by the way. The ubiquity of the network, with 1 million, 1 billion, and 1 trillion, 1 million enterprises, 1 billion people, and 1 trillion devices, soon, by the way, not quite yet, connected to it. Not just open standards, but the state of openness that exists, the facileness and the opportunity that exists as a result of people moving in an open-driven fashion is terribly important and terribly critical from an innovation perspective. And then the idea of new business designs, the ability for large enterprises, small enterprises, to literally take themselves apart, put themselves back together in a very, very facile way to be responsive to market needs or to global needs in a very short period of time. Technology, technology, technology drives all of these, but by itself is not going to do what it once did in the 20th century. This is, after much work on our part and many partners that we have shared this with, this is the environment that we find ourselves trying to nurture in order to develop an innovation culture inside organizations. An open, collaborative, multidisciplinary, and global environment is what's critical. Clearly, a very powerful stimulant for all of this is this collaborative nature. Unless you plan to be a Nobel laureate and work in isolation for many years as you discover the next element on the periodic table, you're going to have to deal with people. You're going to have to interoperate with people. You're going to have to collaborate with people in order to get to the innovation that matters here in the 21st century. Speaking of those innovations, everybody's got their favorite survey. Of course, we've got ours. We did a leadership survey at the end of 2005, published it in 2006. 765 leaders from around the world were asked, what's most important to you? What did they tell us? For the most part, 3/4 of them said innovation is the most important thing for me as the leader of the organization. They also told us that where they're going to get those innovation opportunities, meaning the chances to innovate, not from the classic places in their organizations. They're going to look down and they're going to look out. Down to their employees, to the base of the organization, out to their partners and to their clients. This same group of people, 765, also told us, by the way, to support the thesis that you already understand, that innovation to them meant more than just goods and services. It meant processes as well as business models. Almost a third told us exactly that. So what these leaders are thinking about is developing a culture that supports innovation, as I like to call it, with a capital I. Innovation that is totally inclusive and end-to-end. The other thing I'd like you to remember, if nothing else from this session, is that I actually believe that everybody can be an innovator, while not everybody is capable of being an inventor, a creator, or a discoverer. Think about that point, and that will guide, in many ways, the culture that you have to build in your organization to be innovative. I'm going to quickly take you through a few of those types of thoughts that we have developed in IBM, in and outside of IBM. With this idea of looking down and out, we decided 4 years ago, to develop a new innovative process to literally forecast innovation opportunities. So it doesn't give you the answer to anything, it just helps you observe the problem in some detail that would allow you then to go to work on creating an innovative solution. We did that by taking a dose of our own medicine, in the sense that we built a process that was open, collaborative, global, and multidiscipline that allowed us to deal with, in an open fashion, a series of topics in a very, very driven way that we could then summarize after we synthesize and then share with all the participants. We had 4 primary goals as we put this process in place. We called it the Global Innovation Outlook. Fancy little, phraseology on our part, because we're kind of notorious with another process we use called the Global Technology Outlook. And while I didn't abandon that, and that still is very important, wanted to create something at a higher level, something of even greater value, so that our culture could start to move in this direction. We've done it twice in a row. We're in the process of doing it for the 3rd time. And as you could imagine, this is a very analog process. It's got some digital elements, but it works because we literally get people face to face. First time we did it, we dealt with 3 interesting topics: healthcare, government, and the work-life balance issue. By the way, our perspective on innovation in IBM is it's a core value, and it's innovation that matters for us, but that also matters for the world. Those first 3 topics mostly mattered for the world. I'll be very candid with you. We had about 150 people show up. We did these sessions in 10 cities around the world. We had a big event at the end, summarized everything we did, wrote a nice little booklet, released it to the world. You could have gotten a digital version of it if you wanted, but very analog. Found some profound things out, as a result of that, in terms of what each of these specific opportunities had in mind. Actually did some seminal work here in India as a result of the healthcare session, with the government as well as with several large healthcare providers. Last year, we changed the topics and expanded the venue greatly. In fact, in what we call GIO 2.0, the second version of this, the topics were energy and the environment, the enterprise of the 21st century, and the transportation and mobility of goods and people. All of a sudden, 350 people showed up. All of a sudden, 10 cities became 15 cities. The booklet got a little thicker, and the opportunities got a lot richer in terms of where could you literally put your thinking to unlock new value, apply your technology in a meaningful way that does something and unlocks value that was seen by everyone but hidden to everyone in broad light. We're doing it again, 3.0. Oh, by the way, some of you in the room probably helped us on 2.0. Some of you in the room might want to help us on 3.0. The topics are a little different this time: media and content. This deals with the whole reshaping of the media and content industries as a whole. We are drowning in digital data. Arguably, the digital data of the world, some would have you believe, is doubling every half day, if not now, in the next 3 or 4 years. That's probably a bit of an overstatement, but there's a tremendous amount of it, and it doesn't seem to be stopping.